Okay, so welcome to those of you that are on live with us and those of you that may be watching the recording. This is Margie Lash, and we're gonna go ahead and get started with our affiliate update. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing I'd like to do for those of you that are on live, I'd like to take a couple minutes for yourself just generally. So those of you that haven't done this before, I think we'll have somebody that has done it before start so that you kind of get a little, see what the pattern is. So Laura, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and unmute yourself and introduce yourself. So your name, where you live, a little bit about your why and your CBD Pure experience.
Okay, my name's Laura Bazerman. I live in Aliso Viejo. My why? Well, my why is about or around holistic solutions, and CBD Pure kind of fits into that. And also sharing all of these holistic products with the world and helping people feel better, because I was very chronically ill and felt like crap every day for a few years. And the CBD is helping with my inflammation and just helping to get my immune system under control and function better. And so I'm just excited to share CBD Pure and my doTERRA essential oils with everybody I meet.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura. Marty, do you want to go ahead and do a little introduction of yourself?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, so my name is Marty Lash, and I live in Silverado with my wife, Margie, who's on this call. And my why is pretty simple. I think everybody knows my story. I basically was on opioids for 3.5 years and weaned myself off the opioids and actually a different medication. I had chronic back pain using CBD. So I got so excited about the product and about helping others that I got involved. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Thanks, Marty. Let's see.
Okay.
I see. Let's see. How about Janelle? Will you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, this is Janelle Demeter, and I live in a small town called Glenside, Pennsylvania. It's outside Philadelphia, and I'm relatively new to CBD oil. My fiance had a mountain bike crash earlier this summer and broke 2 bones in his vertebrae and didn't want to take the painkillers. Well, they weren't really helping what they gave him. So we got acupuncture and CBD oil. And then I also started taking it because I have just a history of chronic Lyme disease. And I just noticed just feeling better. And I was impressed with how both of us are more calm and sleep better. And yeah, that's me, and I'm relatively new to all of this, so I'm excited to learn more.
Okay, great. Thanks, Janelle. Let's see. I think I see, is Patty on the line? I see a phone number that I think might be Patty. Oh, you're in listening mode. You can't talk. Okay, that's fine. So Patty Pearl is also on the phone, and let's see. Who else we have here? Let me look and see if I can figure out. If I haven't asked you to introduce yourself, would you please just unmute yourself and go ahead and do so? Because I can't see anyone else. Okay, I think that's everybody that's on the line presently, so that's fine. So we're going to go ahead and get into the content, and I would very much like you to be thinking about questions that you have, or questions that you've maybe had a difficult time answering for people, kind of as we go along here. So the first thing I want to talk about is the 2 different species of hemp plants and kind of what is going on here, because I think this is something that maybe not all of us are super clear about. So we have 2 main species of cannabis plants. There's cannabis indica and there's cannabis sativa. The cannabis indica is very high in THC and low in CBD, and that's the marijuana plant, is the cannabis indica. The cannabis sativa is a completely different species, and it's very high in CBD and very low in THC. And that's the plant that's used for our CBD oil. And that's why it's low in THC. It's naturally low in THC.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I have a question because, like, I know if you, like, let's say you go to a dispensary, there are two different versions of the marijuana plant. One is cannabis and one is indica, and I thought the other is sativa. So if it's not used for marijuana, I'm confused because I think you can buy sativa as
I don't think it's not something that you would smoke because it doesn't have any psychoactivity, or has no psychoactivity.
Right,
So
but
if they're using cannabis sativa, it would be in an edible most likely, and it would be high in CBD.
okay.
You can buy CBD oil at dispensaries.
No, I think it was marijuana. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna have to go back and ask my friend, but
yeah, the marijuana, if it was coming from the sativa, it wouldn't really get you high. So
right, but people are smoking it not for the getting high, but for the CBD part of it.
Well, then it's not marijuana.
Then it's not.
It's not marijuana, because marijuana is from the indica plant.
Okay.
So it might.
So,
yeah, Marty.
It's like the chart says that the indica plant is high in THC and CBD. So somebody who is smoking something or doing something that wants a lot of CBD would not be using that.
No, I get that. Okay.
So if they're smoking it, it would be just for the CBD effects, but smoking it is not going to be the best way to use it.
Okay.
So, so that's the main thing. So that kind of brings us to the idea that CBD is best absorbed when you get it into your bloodstream quickly. So you don't want to smoke it and you don't want to swallow it. You really want to use it in some way that's going to get it right into your bloodstream and bypass your digestive system or bypass your respiratory system. So that's why the way the CBD pure is so good, because we do it sublingually and it gets right into our bloodstream. And that's one of the reasons that the efficacy is so high, is because we're able to get the therapeutic benefits because of the delivery method. So that's a pretty important thing to understand. So anybody have any questions about that? And you can see from this picture, for those of you that are watching, watching online, the two plants look very different. If you didn't have them side by side, you might say, oh yeah, they're both marijuana plants. But when you see them, you can see there's a difference. The sativa leaves are not broad in the center. They're kind of narrow all the way through the whole leaf, whereas the indica has, it widens in the center and then comes back to a point. So and the color is a little bit different. The cannabis indica does tend to have a darker green color to it, and the sativa is usually a little bit more on the yellow side. So just a difference in the plant, and a difference certainly in the chemistry of the plant. So pretty important to understand. So just for review for some of you, and maybe something new for others of you, I just wanted to review the endocannabinoid system, and then kind of this chart that we have. I think most of you have received these charts from me via email in a digital form. So one of the things that is important to understand is the endocannabinoid system is present in every human body, and that CBD oil doesn't affect the CB1 and CB2 receptors directly. It's an indirect influencer. So it is still being studied. I mean, there's lots and lots of published research out there. If you go to projectcbd.org or one of those kinds of clearinghouses for research, you'll get all kinds of research on PubMed that is about cannabis. But the problem with some of that research is it is on the cannabis indica plant and not the cannabis sativa plant. I'm hoping that in the future we're doing lots more research on the cannabis sativa so we can get the direct information about high CBD oils. And so that's kind of just to give you a little heads up about that. The CB2 receptors are mainly in the organs, and the CB1 receptors are kind of spread throughout the body, also present in organs, but more so in other parts of the body. So you can kind of, this gives you a little pictorial of that. And then the chart on the right-hand side of the screen is really showing you different body systems that the different cannabinoids have relation to. And the green column is the CBD, and you can see that almost all of the issues that are listed have benefit of the CBD. And if you look at the THC column, which you can't see because all of you are covering it up. Maybe, I don't know what you guys can see. I can see all of you on the right.
We can see all of them.
You can see all of them.
But
there's a column that's just THC, and you can see that there are not very many elements that are listed on the left-hand side that are addressed with THC. And then all the other columns are all the other cannabinoids that are present. And you can see most of them don't cause effect to all the same things that the CBD does. There are a few that do, but you can see that the CBD is pretty valuable because it really has a lot of effect on most of the things on this list.
Margie, this document that you sent to me previously, when I try to print it or open it, it looks really funny, but I noticed that you guys had a full-size printout of it, so I know that you guys have a better version. Can you maybe resend that out? Because
yeah, so we just, Marty, do you want to address that? Because Marty just got a new version of this that's much more clear.
Oh, okay.
So we can definitely send that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Right, Mark?
Yeah, it's not full size. Obviously, what's happened, I think, is that this Can Labs has been bought out by another lab. And they have the same document, but it's not full size, but it's much, much clearer. So I can send that.
But you had a full-size printout that was laminated. That was perfect.
It was from the same file that you have.
Oh.
So
it was all distorted. Yeah, it wasn't very clear.
It's not really very clear. I have it in front of me. It's pretty fuzzy.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, we will get you the new version.
Okay.
We'll send it to all of you. So and these documents, you can do the same thing that we've done. We've taken them. I don't know if you can see me. I don't know.
Yeah, we can see you.
So we've taken them and laminated them, and this one's a two-sided one. So it's got the body systems that are affected by the CBD on one side and the endocannabinoid system on the other side, and then we have there are two versions of the kind of cheat sheet that tells you the different kinds of things that the CBD helps, and the other cannabinoids as well. These are two versions of the same basic document. They have a few different listings of things, but all these are available for you, and you may want to do what we've done and just laminate them so that when you're talking to somebody, you've got really good visuals for people to take a look at. So
can you also send out, do you have JPEGs or something of like the CBD images, the CBD pure images?
Yeah, we do have some, and yes, probably Laura, because you started early on, we probably just missed you somehow because I have sent them to some people. So I'll have to, but I can resend them to everybody so that you guys all have those, and you'll have the most current things because we have some better images than we started with. So even if I have sent them to you, I think I'll just send them again so you'll be able to have the newest and greatest things.
Thank you.
Okay. So the next, we're just going to review the key advantages of CBD Pure. This is all information that's available on your, in the documents that we've sent you, like the end user document has all the same information, but it's good to review. I see that. I just muted someone that was, I think, causing that problem.
It's better now.
Okay. So I think I'm going to actually mute all of you so that we don't have any of that. So, okay. So the CBD Pure, the graphic on the left-hand side kind of shows you in visuals, kind of all the things that are written on the right-hand side. So the key advantages are that it's organic hemp grown in Denmark. It's cold pressed, unrefined, CO2 extracted. It's of highest quality. It's free of pesticides and contaminants. It's independent third-party tested, which is super important. And it has a natural hemp flavor, and it's sublingual delivery system. So all of I don't know.
It's really bad.
Can you guys even hear me? I don't know.
Now we can. It's better.
Okay.
Just stop. But that went on for a few.
Yeah, it did. I'm really sorry. I don't know why. You think it's you?
Interfering. And I just stopped when I stopped.
All right.
Go ahead, keep going.
Sarah, I saw that you had your hand raised. Did you have a question or want to add something? Because we can just unmute you. There, you're unmuted. Do you have something you wanted to add?
No, I was going to say my ears hurt.
Oh, all right.
But no, I was wanting to thank you for sending all the documents too, because
Okay.
that'll really help us. Thank you
All
for
right.
going through this.
All right, sure. Okay, so here's our time to ask questions. So I wanted to give you guys the opportunity because I know a lot of people are, asking individual questions, and I thought that it would be really, really a good idea to give you the opportunity to ask them in a group setting so that we all could learn. So anybody have any specific questions that they've been asked or that they are wanting to clarify themselves? Okay, I thought that might happen. So I'd
like to comment a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, because I forget what the question was, or you were discussing, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about just the production of CBD Pure. You had mentioned that some of the things. So the CBD Pure is produced from, as Margie said, organic hemp grown in Denmark, and then it is converted to a serum that is like it's a very, very thick, very, very intense serum that is then mixed with, then used to mix with with hemp oil, and the percentage of hemp oil versus the percentage of CBD serum determines the strength of the CBD in the 100, 300, and 600. So when you're getting questions, I just wanted you to understand, and yes, it's cold pressed, and so the serum that's produced is actually what's tested and gets the results, and then it's mixed with the hemp oil.
But isn't the serum actually hemp oil too, just thicker? Because that's where I'm getting a little confused, because I mean, CBD is made out of hemp. So is it just a thicker, more concentrated version of hemp oil, so they mix thicker hemp oil with thinner hemp oil to come.
Yeah, the hemp oil, the hemp oil, the carrier hemp oil is just like the hemp oil that you would purchase at the store that you would use in cooking or adding to baked goods or something like that. So it's just and it's also organic. So it's the organic vegetable oil, and then the CBD serum that's concentrated, and that's why it's called a serum. It's concentrated with all the CBD elements. That's added to the hemp oil carrier.
So hemp oil. Hemp oil.
It's all hemp oil.
CBD.
It's all hemp oil. It's all hemp oil.
That's what I'm trying to get at. So the hemp oil carrier that I would buy in the store, that could have CBD properties in it too, no? Or is it just
probably not in hugely measurable? It's not tested, and we don't know.
Okay, well, yeah. So that's what I'm just trying. But all of it, whether it's the serum or the hemp oil, it's all coming from hemp.
Yes,
CBD comes from the hemp, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's just like taking the serum that's been tested and has all the CBD properties and adding it to because I'm sure they're using the organic hemp grown in Denmark for their carrier oil as well, right? And you're just taking the concentrated serum, adding it to the lesser concentrated organic hemp oil to come up with their mixture for their CBD pure.
Correct.
Is that okay?
Yep. Exactly.
Thank you.
You got it. So, are there any questions about that? Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to maybe, since nobody seems to have other questions, I wanted to talk about some of the things that CBD supports and kind of how we can discuss that. So, if someone comes to you and says, well, I have arthritis, does it help arthritis? The way we respond is by saying that CBD oil supports healthy joint function. And so, in other words, yes, I've just answered that question of does it help arthritis, but I've answered it in a compliant way. So the same thing with respiratory function or digestive function or immune function or cellular function. All of those body systems that I just mentioned are supported by the use of CBD oil. And so then if someone says, well, I have asthma, does CBD oil help asthma? You can say, yes, CBD oil supports a healthy respiratory system.
So,
yeah.
Joint function, respiratory function, immune function, digestive function,
and just cellular function in general.
Is it good for cardiovascular too? I thought.
Yes, it is. I just didn't mention that one. Yes, it's great for cardiovascular. So it really hits, most of, and central nervous system, of course. So,
did you get your paper?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Marty, I see that you're raising your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I would like, this is probably not the appropriate time, but I would like to discuss some of the competitive things that we discussed from some of our competitors regarding flavoring and pricing and CBD strength and those kinds of things.
Great.
So, I don't know. Okay. So some of you may know that we were at the doTERRA conference last week, and there was another CBD competitor there. And I wanted to try and learn a little bit more about that competitor. And then it got me thinking that we come across these questions a lot. So I just wanted to address a couple of things. A lot of times you're going to run into people that have, flavoring in their CBD oil. This one had like cinnamon and vanilla, and so we get a lot of questions, or I've gotten questions. Well, do we have flavoring in our oil? Because some people don't like the taste, some people do like the taste, whatever. The answer is no. We do not have flavoring, nor do we have any other additives. So when you look at a lot of the flavoring, it's not just that they've added particular flavoring. All of a sudden, they're adding coconut oil or they're adding other oils, and so it's not pure. Okay, and that's what our whole thing is. This is pure hemp oil with CBD. It doesn't have vanilla. It doesn't have cinnamon or mint chocolate chip or whatever. Because everybody that, the thing is that no matter who you are, somebody like I know of a brand that has citrus in it that I can't stand. So everybody has an objection to some taste. So this is pure. There's nothing else in it. But if you start looking at those other labels, you'll see that they have other things other than just vanilla. The other thing I want to comment a lot of times is I see like this particular manufacturer, they had 750 per 2 ounce. It was 750 CBD milligrams in the bottle. And so somebody said, well, that's 150 more than we have in a 2 ounce bottle, and that's true. And the dosage is a little higher. They recommend whatever the math would be. I think it was like about 35 a day or something like that versus our 20 a day. But their price was double. So so for double, I could get 1,200 and I could do a lot better than 750. So when you're comparing prices, if somebody says, oh, they saw something on the internet or you heard of something, always compare the strength and the amount of cannabidiol in the actual product itself, because when you do the math, it's usually pretty close. And of course, ours is pure and it's 100% tested and all those other things. So I just wanted to give you some information. And by the way, if it's not tested, there's no way I'd put it in my body. There's all kinds of stuff. My brother just sent me 2 spams he received about CBD, and it's going to cure cancer. It's these crash and burn things. They buy a lot of CBD oil. They package it up. They sell it out, and then you can never find them again. And I wouldn't be putting that stuff in my body personally, and I would suggest that nobody else does. So you want to make sure the brand is an established brand that has an ongoing presence, that does proper testing, that is pure, not coming out of somebody's house in Colorado.
I have a question on strength, but before I ask my question, Marty, I will say I've run into a few people, and that is one of the things they say to me is that, oh, I've been researching CBD for a while, and I didn't know where to get it. I didn't know who to trust. So I think just letting people know that I have it, I'm sure a lot of people have been looking into it and just don't want to buy it because they don't want to just buy it from some random place on the internet, because again, you don't know what you're getting. So so I agree with that. So my question is, so can you speak to, because I'm just trying to learn and understand, so like 600 strength gives you 20 something a day. Or is that per each? Yeah. Like, can you explain what 600 correlates to, what 300 correlates to, and then is that per dose that you take, or is that per day based on twice a day? Can you explain that part of it?
Okay, so with us, it's very simple. 600 means there's 600 cannabidiol in the bottle. And that equates to, if you look at about 20, and it's based on a 30-day calendar. It's a 30-day supply, so that means 20 per day, and it's 2 servings per day, so it's 10 per serving.
So 20, but what 20 what? What is that called?
Milligrams. It's milligrams.
Okay, so 600 cannabidiol equals 20 milligrams of cannabidiol?
Right, 600.
And that's for the day, so that's 10 per serving. Okay.
Correct. Milligrams per day. It's 10 milligrams per serving.
Okay.
Twice a day is 20 per day times 30 days is 600.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And so the 300 would be 5 per serving, 10 per day based on 2 servings, times 30 days is 300. And then the 100, they kind of like round it off a little bit. It's a little weird, but it's like, I think it's like 1.8 or something like that per
1.6.
serving. It's 1.6 per serving, times 2 a day is 3.2, which is really times 30 is almost 100. So
You have a lot of homework?
no homework. So that's how the math was done. It's based
Oh,
upon
that's right.
it's based upon the number of servings, the number of milligrams per serving times 2 servings per day times 300 per. I mean 30 per month.
Can you? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you just give me the 100 again? It breaks down to 1 point what?
1.6, and it's on your end user.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I saw that. I just didn't understand what it meant.
Yeah, it's all there.
So and each of those numbers is per serving. So all you have to do is the math from there is just 2 servings per day times 30, and you'll be, that'll give you the number.
And
Okay.
really, it's a little bit more than 1.6 in the half dropper full of the 100. So it rounds off to 3.3 per day, because I think it's more like 1.63 or 1.64 or 5 per half dropper full. So
Yeah, they don't put the whole. But the thing, Laura, is, as you know, I take it more than twice a day. So
Okay.
of course and I don't get, and it's the same amount of stuff. So mine doesn't last. I do it like 30 a day. So mine only lasts for like 20 days.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So did that bring up any questions for anyone else now that we've kind of discussed that a little bit?
I actually wanted to make another point that I was thinking about today, and this is, for the groups that we're talking about this now. So I think most of you know that we're recommending very strongly that people take this as a supplement on a daily basis. That's the way it's supposed to be taken, and it needs to get in your body. And it needs to, that's how it works. You can't just take it, symptomatically. If you all of a sudden have a pain in your back, you can't just take it and it'll go away. Except I happen to be a little bit different because it does work a little bit like that to me. But I was also thinking that when I have, as many of you have seen, when I'm having a bad time of it, I will take an extra shot or 2 of CBD, and it will help me. And I was wondering, well, why, if it's not supposed to have an immediate effect, when I take an extra shot, does it give me relief? And I think and I was thinking about that, and the reason is that I have a constant amount in my body that's always present. And so if I take extra, I have an immediate, it kind of like pushes me a little more. It gives me a little more immediately, and I feel it pretty quickly, besides the fact that I uptake it very quickly to begin with. So because I was thinking, well, why do I take more and it help if I'm having extra pain? And I think it's because I already have that level in my body, that run level, and then if I add to that, it gives me a little extra boost. So you may want to tell people that because some people have different levels of pains at different time, and that would maybe help them if they are maintaining that level and they have a little bit of extra discomfort, whatever it might be, pain or whatever, that it might help a little more at that very time.
And so, yeah, I want to, kind of reiterate what Marty's saying is that we do recommend it as a dietary supplement, that people take it on a very regular basis, consistently every single day. And if they do have additional reason to take it because they're having, additional pain that day or something, and that's exactly right. When you have a therapeutic amount in your body that's going to address general health, and then you have additional something that is going on, that I agree, Marty, with you, that is the reason that it's helping you. But when you just take it situationally, it's not likely to give you as much of a benefit. And that's why it's so important, especially for people that are having some significant issue going on, that they take it as a dietary supplement and then add to that when necessary. Then, you know, like even if we look at someone that has, you know, occasional headaches, we're not saying that they're never going to get a headache, but they're probably going to get them less frequently when they're taking it daily, and they're going to be less severe when they do get them. And they can always take a little extra if they do begin to have some headache pain. So
I think most of you have heard me say that one of the things I used to really, it was really annoying, and I think most people that have chronic pain are annoyed by when a doctor says to you, on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me your pain level. And I hate that. And so what I tell people is, you know, if your pain level is, let's say, at a 7, and you can reduce it to a 4 by taking CBD, it's not going to take it to a 0, let's face it. I mean, it's just, I mean, it might, but I don't count on that. Like my pain level is not never 0. A lot of times it is actually 0. But what it's done is it takes kind of the edge off. It takes it from a 7 to a 4 and a 3. And anybody who has chronic pain can tolerate that, or take an Aleve or whatever. They don't have to take hardcore medication. So it doesn't always fix the problem. Like Margie said, you might have less headaches or you might have less severe headaches. But if it can help you to that level, then it should be worth it, or else your headaches aren't that bad.
And, you know, as far as we're concerned, anything that we can do with a more natural remedy rather than taking a synthetic medication, we want to do. So I think that, you know, we don't want to harm our body and create other situations by taking something that's not resonating well with our body or not very absorbable. And so, you know, I was talking to Marty the other day about taking a synthetic source of iron versus a plant-based source of iron, and how, you know, when you do something like, I'm just using this as an example, you know, you create all kinds of other things in your body because you have to take too much to absorb just the little bit that your body actually needs, and then it causes things like constipation and all those other things that it's causing. And that's because it's synthetic and our bodies don't uptake it well. So when you can take just what you need of a natural product and have it really benefit you in a much more optimal way, it just makes total sense. And I think that's also a way to discuss it with people. You know, if you can get away from the things that are causing you to have side effects and you get onto something that is really helping you therapeutically without those side effects, it's really beneficial. So that is really important as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure you all agree. Any additional questions about that? Okay. So I think we'll move on to the next section. And certainly, as your questions come up, you are welcome to text, email, call us, and you know, we will definitely support you in getting answers to your questions. So know that it's an open door policy. We'll do our very best to get you information as quickly as we can once we know you have a question. So we're gonna, Marty, we get to talk about our online ordering system. Yay!
Well, this is just my favorite subject in all the world. Am I on mute? No.
Nope, we can hear you.
So one of the things that we wanted to do was give the wellness affiliates the ability to order their own product and not have to contact us. And so we started out, we needed a closed site because we didn't want people on it that weren't, you know, signed up as wellness affiliates. We wanted something that maybe we could get out of the shipping business so that we wouldn't have to like sit here and do all the fulfillment. We wanted something that would integrate into our QuickBooks back office system. And then we wanted something that had different pricing levels because we have retail and whatnot. So it has been quite the struggle, but I'm glad to say that it is now online and available. and it's not real pretty and it's not real fancy, but you will be able to order your own product. And Margie, as she sets you up in the system, you will receive an email giving you your sign-on rights and the location of where you can find the store, and then you should be able to go in and order product. And everything, just so you know now, all the order processing financially will be done through PayPal. So even if you don't have a PayPal, they kind of hide the button a little bit, but if you don't have a PayPal account, if you just go down a little bit, you can use a credit card without being associated with PayPal at all. It's just for our purposes, the credit card processes through PayPal. So like I said, there's a dedicated site. You log on. It'll be your email address that you give when you sign up for the enrollment. The enrollment form, which of course many of you are way past that stage. You'll get the password. You'll go in there. You'll be able to look around a little bit. It's really not that, like I said, it's pretty basic. But you'll be able to order, and all of your fulfillment will come out of the typical fulfillment will come out of Tucson. If you want so in the system, there are 2 warehouses, just so you know. So when you're set up with a warehouse. That's the way the system works. So if you're set up with Silverado and you want to make it will call, in other words, get Margie to drop it off or whatever, you probably should just let us know about that one, because we can do that. We just have to, it's not set up that way to do will call or delivery by Margie or pick up in Silverado, just because it's set up for for more, less of the founder group. So anyway, so you should be able to get that. You should be getting that information, and hopefully it will work for you. Please call with suggestions. I know there's a lot of things that we could add on and make it better and put a whole library of information up there. It's not really, we're not at that stage yet, and our budgets don't allow that. So we're doing the best we can with what we can, and we'll someday, when we have hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of affiliates, we'll get a better system.
This system works fine, and as Marty said, he says it's not pretty, but I think it actually looks very nice. Oh. And it's functional, and that's the most important thing. So you'll be able to process your orders easily, and so a couple of you are already live on that system, because we have been able, for the past week, we've been able to enter orders that way. So a couple of you already have had an order placed, so we were able to fulfill it or place it through the live system. And going forward, those of you that have received emails from us, I think actually there's only 2 of you, because that's all the orders we've had in the past week or so, that we were able to fulfill this way. So you guys were kind of our guinea pigs, and it worked. Yay! Hallelujah! So it's going to be easy to deal with, because you don't pay shipping. There's really no reason for you to have me fill the order from Silverado, unless you can't wait for it because you waited too long to order. So that would be the only thing for those of you that are local to us. But the shipping is included in your per bottle cost, so there's no reason, you're not going to be paying shipping for it. So I guess the main thing is to order before you're out, so that you don't have to worry about that. Our ordering fulfillment should be pretty quick. Most times we're finding that when we place an order today, they usually ship it tomorrow. So unless you order on a Friday, that's kind of the way it will work. If you order on Friday, it will go out on Monday. And so that should be pretty seamless and should be pretty easy. I can't even imagine that you guys would even know that was what was going on. So it should just move ahead, very, very seamlessly. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Then I think, so if this is your first Holistic Life Wellness Affiliate meeting, I definitely want you to stick around because we're going to be discussing compliance and using compliant language. If you've heard this before and you don't feel that you need it again, then certainly this is a time when we can say adios to you. So either way is fine with me. If you want to stay on and listen, even if you've heard it before, that's fine. If you have heard it before and you don't want to hear it again, I know we always can learn, right? There's always something new, and when we start talking about this, we sometimes discover new ways of looking at things. So did someone unmute and want to ask a question? Or?
Yeah, I have to leave. I'll listen to it because I think you could always learn something again. I'll listen to it on the recording, but I have another meeting to go to, so I'm going to have to sign off.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Okay. That was just from Laura. Okay. So anyway, we'll just go ahead and we'll just get into compliance and certainly, why can't I see my little icon to move my slides forward? There it is. Okay. So compliant language, I am going to harp on this from now until the end of time because it's super important to us. You know, just like with essential oils, the the Food and Drug Administration is looking for people and organizations that are not following the rules, and that would mean making disease claims. So that's why this is so important when we talk about compliant language. We cannot make disease claims because this is a dietary supplement. It is not a drug, nor do we want it to be classified as a drug. We want it to stay a dietary supplement because it makes it available to people. They can make a choice to get it. They don't need to have a physician recommend it for them or write a prescription for it. And we know that this works really well and is quite effective. So we want to keep it that way. So we want to be sure to use compliant language. Now, having said that, it's mostly in social media and other online places that the language must be compliant. In personal communication, in person, via personal email that's only to an individual, not to a group, then you can be a little bit more specific in sharing your stories and your testimonials about the product. But when you're online in social media, in a group setting, doing an online class or something like that, it's super important to use compliant language. And so, like I said, we can, if someone asks us a question that is about a specific condition, we can answer it in a compliant way. And we're still answering it, but we can then just use things like it supports, it promotes, you know, whatever the function is that we're looking for. So here is, for those of you that are watching the presentation, here is the disclosure statement. And you know, this is what keeps us safe. The Food and Drug Administration disclosure. Representations regarding the efficacy and safety of CBD Pure have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA only evaluates foods and drugs, not supplements like these products. These products are not intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any disease. This is what we must have. We must use this information. And the cannabidiol, CBD, in CBD Pure is a natural constituent of industrial hemp and legally imported. CBD Pure does not sell or distribute any products that are in violation of the United States Controlled Substance Act. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. Always check with your physician before starting a new dietary supplement program. This is what protects us. This is the language that we use, And but when you're talking online, you don't always have to have this. If you just say, for example, I posted something last week. I just said, looking for CBD oil? Take advantage of the 10% off that we're offering today only. And I didn't make any claims about anything. I just said, are you looking for it? And then private message me and we'll talk. And that's all I did. And I got some people interested that way. I had a few people respond. A lot of the people didn't listen to what I said. I said private message me, but instead they commented, which is fine, because they just said, I'm interested and I want more information. And then I private messaged them and gave them more information. So that's a really good, kind of way to just introduce that you have it. You don't have to address, what it does for you or anything. People are more aware of CBD than they used to be. And like we were just saying, a lot of people have been researching it and they're looking for it. So if they know you have it, they'll probably come to you. You won't even need to go to them. So that is something that I think is really important. So now let's talk a little bit about the actual things we can say and the things we can't say. So we can make claims about what they call cosmetic claims. So we can say that it cleanses the skin, it improves appearance, things like that. What we want to concentrate on is structure function claims. And that's things that we stay on the health side of the equation. We don't talk about conditions or diseases. We talk about the function the structure function claim. So we talk about health, wellness, it supports, it promotes, it maintains. So that's why you always hear me saying things like CBD supports healthy functioning of whatever body system it is. It helps us maintain a healthy inflammatory response in our body. That would be something we would say. Or it helps us maintain balance of whatever system it is we're looking at, like maintains a balanced cardiovascular system, instead of saying, oh, it helps lower blood pressure. We're not going to say it helps lower blood pressure. We're going to say it helps us maintain balance of our cardiovascular system. We can make claims like it lifts mood, it reduces irritability, it maintains heart health, supports mental clarity, promotes general wellness. Those are all claims that we can make. You see, it's all using compliant language. So that is kind of where we land with this. Words to avoid and statements to avoid. You don't want to use actual disease diagnoses like cancer, diabetes, autism, not even cold or flu. We don't want to use disease, illness, cure, treat, repair, chronic. You can't use even the word chronic or acute. And we certainly aren't going to say things like, use this product instead of this drug. That is a definite no-no. So it's just a matter of learning to use language that is compliant. So here's a little this is disease claims that we're not going to use, and then the compliant language that we can use in place of that. So we can't say relieves insomnia, but we can say it supports restful sleep. Do you see the difference? We're not making a disease claim or a condition claim. We're saying what it does, what it supports. Reduces anxiety and depression. No, we're going to say uplifts mood or creates a situation, is helpful with anxious feelings, something like that. Soothes arthritis pain. No, we're going to say it supports cartilage and joint function. So do you see, we're always taking what I would call the high road. We're always staying on the healthy side of the equation. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's really the discussion. So are there questions now based on that? If anybody has a question, you can unmute yourself or, and go ahead and ask your question. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for joining us. And please reach out to us. I am going to go ahead and send all of you emails, an email with the newest versions of the documents and the JPEGs, so that you have those to use going forward. We want to support you in the best way we can to be successful with your CBD business. And we hope to just continue to educate you as we go along. I would love some feedback on how often you would like us to have an update or a meeting. If you want it once a month, if you want it once every other week. I doubt whether you all would want it weekly, but I'm open to suggestions about what you would like and the time of day and day of the week that would be best for you. I can't promise that I'll make everyone happy by choosing what you're requesting, but I would very much like your input. So when I send you the email with the documents, I'd be happy to have that input as well. And I see Sharon just said she doesn't have a microphone on her computer. And oh, she asked a question through Zoom. I didn't see it, so let me look again. Let's see. Oh, so if I want to do a testimony Tuesday on my Facebook site, could I quote them, or would I need them to post? Should I put this discussion on my Facebook site? The disclosure. Should you put the disclosure on your Facebook site? That's a good question. I think we need to talk a little bit more about it, Sharon, and I will get back to you with, and maybe that's something we can discuss on our next meeting, or we can put something out to the team, because I think we need to discuss, I think I need to talk to you a little bit more about it and understand a little bit more about what it is you want to do. So the testimonies, basically the testimony has to be compliant language. So we might need to help people with that. Or we might have them private message it to us and then we clean it up and then have them post it. So let's talk about how that might work best. We really can't, the testimonies that are on your Facebook page really need to be compliant, even though it's not you speaking. If someone posts something that's not compliant, we really need to ask them to remove it, or we have to have some kind of a acceptance process where you would have to accept it before it was posted. So we'll have to discuss how best to do that. I hope that answers your question, Sharon. And that's probably a good thing for everybody to hear, so that you kind of have a sense of where we would need to go with that. So I hope that answers it. Anybody else have anything that?
Margie?
Yes.
That brought up something. I had a question and then forgotten, and Sharon, thank you, that helped me. So I was thinking about my website and adding a CBD page when I redo some of it. So would that, but also for essential oils, would that disclosure need to be stated if we have something static? And not like Facebook where it goes away, but we still need to be compliant. Do we still have to have a disclosure on a website?
Yes, on your website you need to have the disclosure for sure.
Did you send us that one, or is it on our paperwork or something?
No, you know what? It's not. So I think it's on something, but I don't know what it's on. Marty, you are muted. Is it on?
It's on, I think, the end user sheet or something.
Let me look at the end user sheet. Oh, I don't think I have the end user sheet.
Or we'll find it and we'll see.
It's on something, but yeah, we can definitely give it to you. Yeah, and you know oh yeah, here it is. It's at the bottom. It's actually at the bottom of the Wellness Affiliate Program sheet too, because that back is the same as the end user back. So it is at the bottom of the I don't know if it's all those statements. Yeah, it's 2 of the 3 paragraphs that you saw on the slide. But I can also include it in the email that I send. So that's not a problem.
Thanks for doing all this, because that made me think of it.
Yeah. Well, we want to make it easy for you to be sharing. So, anything that we can help you with respect to that, it's no big deal. We've already created it. It's just a matter of disseminating it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, I'm very happy that you were able to join us today, and we look forward to the next time that we meet together as a community. And please feel free to reach out with all of your questions. As you can see, I'm available with all different modalities. So just reach out whenever necessary. Look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.
Thanks, Margie.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.